E like energy. This is what we're going to talk about today. The acting alphabet, as you know, it is some sort of a toolbox, right, on how to tackle life and profession at the same time. Every letter stands for something. It stands for a principle of work, for an adjective, for a noun, for the representation of our dedication to the task on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis, basically, right? Because this is what our life should revolve around. Because if we want to give importance to our life and purpose to our actions and value to our efforts, we have to focus, right? We have to kind of align with all these things. And it's not just, it's not just a couple of beautiful words that are going to fix the day or create revenue and will make me famous. No, it's not a nice poem or anything, or a beautiful instructional manual or a video such as this one. They won't change anything if you don't put in the right energy. So the letter E is all about that, right? It's the fifth letter which completes the pentagram, right? Which is a very interesting shape, right? It's a 5-pointed star. And the 5-pointed star, E, stands for energy, but it stands also for re-energizing. So that principle of R-E, Ra or Ra, right? That is also the principle of light for the ancient Egyptians, for the light that was always coming back, always illuminating the sky. It's actually the celestial sun. It's more like a spiritual sun, because the sun itself, the physical sun, is represented by the eye of Horus, and that would be a different letter. It's the E for the recycling, the regeneration, the recreation, the repurposing, right? It's that energy that we're talking about. That, if you look at Sun Tzu and the art of war, Sun Tzu tells us in order to win the battle, in order to win the war, you need to win the battle. And how do we win the battle? We win the battle according to 5 principles, right? Again, the letter E. And so one of those principles in order to win the battle strategically is the principle of heaven. And heaven is not what you might think. It hasn't anything to do with celestial events per se. It's more about the change of night and day. So what do I do next? How do I energize my day? How do I get on with things? And this is the acting alphabet, right? It gives you some sort of a guidance and also stuff to think about that doesn't necessarily translate in immediate action, but over time with the reflection of what these assignments are. Because in a way, I also invite you kindly over here at the Coach MC studio, right, to think about this and to write it down. So take your journal out, take some colors out, right? Just get a couple of beautiful pens and pencils and colors, right? Animate your vision and think about this concept of the letter E and what it stands for, energy. So why is energy so important? Because energy is what the world needs. Energy is what we need, right? Everything is based on energy. If there is no energy, there is no transmission, there is nothing else, there is no life. So when we are playing a character, we are also playing an energy signature. We're also playing a song in a weird way, right? Interpreting a character or giving a speech, or you have your board of directors and you're presenting something, or kind of negotiating your salary or the entrance into a company, because everything is communication, everything is a negotiation, like Chris Voss always says, and which is true in a way. We are always negotiating. And in a way, we're also always competing. And especially in arts, even if we don't, I know that some of you artists might go, no, hey, I'm not competing, I'm unique, right? I have a special product, I don't need to compete. In a way, that's cool. That's super. That's the right mindset. I believe that to be true. I have a video about the acting submarine where it's all about the blue ocean strategy and finding a product that is unique, and therefore you're not having any competitors because you're creating your own market for sure. But don't think that because now you've set yourself up to create your own product that you won't face any competition. Because first of all, the history of patents that have been declared or have been kind of registered the same day, sometimes even the same hour, it's just scary. All over the place, we find patents, inventions, groundbreaking discoveries being made in multiple locations from different people, sometimes even on the same day. Why? Because there is, of course, synchronicity of thoughts, of energy flowing around in the ether. So don't think that because you have an idea, that idea just belongs to you. It belongs, to the source field. And many people, when you have that idea, other people might have that idea too, right? So it kind of resonates, and that's beautiful. Because if one is too lazy of registering that groundbreaking patent that might change and help millions of people change the outcome of this plan, might help millions of people by, let's say, creating a free energy resource, right, for everybody to tap into. And that one inventor, gets injured on the way to this to the patent lab, right? This is a very hypothetical story. This, of course, never happens that somebody likes to register a free patent for a free energy device and then maybe gets killed, right, in the process of registering it. But just let's assume that you just have one person coming up with that idea, that this invention just belongs to, just let's play devil's advocate for the sake of arguing my argument here, of attacking what I'm just saying, right? For the sake of it, let's play devil's advocate. Let's assume that you just have one inventor, right, that came up with that free energy device type of patent. And now on the way to this, to registering and kind of, making this patent like available to everybody, like creating an open source out of it, on the way of doing that, maybe he dies, maybe he his plane crashes, or maybe he disappears. And so what do you do? This invention will be lost forever. So what does the universe do? In this case, the universe distributes the idea on several heads in different countries, in several brains. So if something happens to one brain, the other brain might activate the same invention. So the universe makes sure that this groundbreaking invention gets implemented. So that's why I always say, guys, the universe is perfect, right? It's nothing to argue about that. So if you are having an idea, be sure that someone else has this idea too. This is just a way of the universe to ensure that something beautiful will definitely come out. Nonetheless, tragical things might happen or occur out of the blue, completely coincidentally. We're not saying that anyone is involved in killing, engineers or discoverers or scientists that are bringing something groundbreaking to the market that could change the life of millions for the better forever without paying too much money. We wouldn't say or imply anything like that something mysterious like incidents could happen to people who have groundbreaking inventions. No. Oh my God. Is this still an acting channel? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's get back to the topic. What I'm trying to say here is energy is something that connects us on a visceral level, but also on a conscious level. And so if you're having a character, let's say we're playing the acting game right now, and you have a character, and you look at this character, what he's saying, how he's implemented in the text, what kind of placage he has in the script, and if he's a protagonist, a non-protagonist, whatever. Doesn't matter. For you, is always the protagonist. For us, when we're playing a character, for us, it's the protagonist. So we look at that as like, what is his energy level? How is he communicating with the other people in the scene or throughout the play? What is his function? Like on a technical level, the author has given a certain function to each, and to all the roles that are participating in the script, right? So everybody kind of fulfills a function as well. So what's his function energy-wise? Is he like high energy? Is he like an outspoken person that's very outgoing, very energetic and very loaded, and or is he like more like a very reserved type of secluded type of like a recluse, or is he more like a neutral character? So all these different character types have different energy levels, and therefore if you have an important speech, an important monologue, or important role that you love to interpret, then ask yourself is like, what kind of energy level does this character represent? And in order to interpret this character faithfully, I have to kind of match that energy level. I have to get to that energy level. I can't request from my system to match an energy level that I'm usually not fulfilling. Like, look at me, right? I'm a pretty outgoing, very loud, very, you could say, flamboyant type of person, if you want to call me so, right? But I'm definitely, you can hear me, right? So if I would now get an audition about, let's say, a priest that has witnessed a murder, and therefore he's, kind of shocked and a very quiet and very private and very reserved person, right? That is a completely different energy level, right, to what I'm usually covering as a human being, as Lorenzo, as the coach. Who's the coach and who's Lorenzo? I don't know. It's one of those guys, right? So I have a certain energy level, and a priest that has witnessed a murder and is scared about the consequences of what he just saw or what he witnessed is definitely a different, right, energy level. It's definitely more low toned, it's very more restricted, it's very more contracted. So I start kind of going into my inner temple, into my mental palace, and I start kind of reaching out to those images that represent that energy level. But I do this also exteriorly, like with my physicality, right? Because if I'm all this, right, that I don't come across, if I'm beating up the place, if I have a lot of gestures, a lot of if I'm gesticulating a lot, if I'm moving myself a lot, that is an expression of a lot of energy. If I have a very reserved character that is scared, a character that is insecure, right? That is definitely also, not only does that mean that I have to think different thoughts, it's also, that will immediately also trigger a different physical reaction. It will inform my physicality in a certain way. So I need to reduce my movements. I need to kind of, tone down my energy levels. I have to be way more closed and less open, right? And so therefore there is a lot of consequences when we adapt our energy levels to the energy level of the character that somehow happen naturally and automatically if you have a lot of experience and if you have a lot of of practice in this. But usually what I recommend everybody to do, right, all of my clients and students, when they have a certain audition or a certain monologue or a certain presentation, ask yourself, like, what kind of energy level is this? Like from 0 to 100, what is this energy level? Is this a very optimistic type of presentation you have here? A very like outgoing type of presentation? Is this more like a cool presentation with a lot of numbers, a lot of stats, a lot of figures? Is it more like, is it flowery? Is it more like, is it a long monologue, a flowery monologue with beautiful speech? So different energy levels, right? Depending also from the content. And therefore we need to get in tune with those energy levels to represent those words truthfully, convincingly, and genuinely, right? So if I have that type of toned down character that is very kind of secluded, right, and very mysterious in a way, and also insecure, of course, I choose a practice to warm up that is slightly differently, right? I don't actually need to warm up that much. Yes, open up my senses and get in tune and stretch out, but I actually have to calm down my heartbeat a little bit. My breathing kind of, extended and longer, right? I have to get, a bit more to a lower gear. I have to shift down a little bit. So I roll slower. There's more thought. It doesn't mean that I lose intensity. It's just a different energy level. It's just way down. So it's not 85 or 83 or 80. Maybe it's a 67, maybe it's a 72, or maybe it's a 60, or even lower than that, right? So where am I? What type of energy level is that? If you have a problem assessing it through numbers and through like let's say a chart, which shouldn't be that much of a difficulty, but numbers sometimes are very abstract, right? They give us a certain value, but how can we translate that when it's about art? How can I translate a number into art? Okay, so number is the level of intensity of energy, okay? But usually we can associate with an energy intensity level, we can associate also a color, right? What is a 90 as intensity level? It's like a dark red probably, right? Something like this, right? It's red, right? It's dark red. That's like highly, it's heated up, right? And so therefore lower energy levels means also cooler colors, right? So look for a color that kind of matches that energy level. And then maybe you write down on a sheet of paper, hey, that color, do I find an adjective or noun or a word to describe that color? Like of course the easiest and most obvious example would be, I say the color red stands for passion and the color blue stands for coolness, right? Let's say we keep it as schematic as this, right? Passion and coolness, or love and fear, right? But you can find, of course, your own terms, your own nouns, your own adjectives to describe colors. And then again, can I, associate a song to a color, right? Or a poem, or a movie, or a painting, or any other type of art, or a fashion garment? It's like try to find more and more abstractions and associations to what an intensity level means to you, what an energy level actually, how you would describe it. If you would kind of cut it out and create some sort of you remember the mugshots from back in the days when they wanted people, right, for the bounty hunters and the Wild Wild West. Is like, yeah, do I have a profile picture of that guy? I want to have this guy, or that lady, I want to bring her in because she has broken the law. It's like, create that profile And you can do it even physically, cut out some magazine papers, be creative, fool around with this. Okay, so energy level, let's say you have 3 different intensity level. High intensity level, right? It's like with training, right? You want to sweat a lot, lose a lot of calorie. This is my energy level for this character, for this piece of art, for this presentation, right? It's a very optimistic, very outgoing, or very inspirational type of delivery here. So high intensity. So it's red, so it's passion. So this is what, I find is like, do I find any other, like an actor, a movie, a song that matches that? I can, glue it to the wall. And then let's go 1 intensity level down. Let's say medium intensity. Is there a song? Is there a color? Is there a building that describes this energy level? And then again, even lower, even more toned down, right? Is there like a description that you can find that makes the picture complete for you, so you can find more and more images and associate those images with feelings and create some sort of an archive, so you understand, okay, this character is energy level high intensity, is red, very passionate, outgoing. I would say if I would describe him with a building, let's say, I would say it's a football stadium that is fully packed and roaring and loud and confusing and also very passionate, right? That's like a very strong image and very beautiful, and we can already like kind of associate some visceral pictures and ideas with it. Or do I say it's a beautiful concert, right? From like I sweat for 4 hours because I was dancing, like, I don't know, like a beautiful ska concert, beautiful reggae concert, or it's a great movie, right? Like find associations to that energy level, so you can find more and more information inside of yourself that will also activate a physical reaction and trigger some impulses and some actions, right? That then will give you the idea of a dramatic performance. This is how we always translate these informations, because acting means acting upon it. Energy transmission, right? This is what this letter stands for. And it's of course also a vowel. And I'm definitely going to shoot a whole video about the importance of vowels and their origin. It's so fascinating, incredible topic. You wouldn't even believe like what type of rabbit hole the vowels represent, right? And so therefore, this is what I say, letters, vowels, lines, words, they all have meanings. They all have an origin. They all have many associated packages of information that go alongside with them. And so don't take the words for too granted, right? I can't stress this out enough, because it's so important to look at things from different perspectives, because that helps to inform your system in some way. And sometimes you get a lot out of such an exploration, like today, like, hey, what does energy mean to me and how can I represent it? And sometimes it's like a little thing that you take away from it. It doesn't matter. It's just one major or one minor. It's a tool, right? If good events, bad events, it's an event. Good press, bad press, it's press, right? We don't necessarily attribute like value in terms of major or minor. It's all a reflection of one, and therefore it's all useful if you use it. Right? Like Bruce Lee always said, is if you use it, then it's useful. If you don't use it, then discard it because it's useless. Right? So and also how much you want to use it, how much energy you want to invest in kind of researching what that means to you and how to match those energy levels. And this also helps you to get rid of a little bit of the insecurities, like, hey, how can I handle this character? How can I tackle this audition? What is it that these people like to see from me? Is like, hey, have you asked yourself like what your energy level is? And do you match this energy level usually? Because how are you supposed to deliver on like a high frequency pitch, right? With a lot of swing and passion and a broad vocabulary, if your day looks rather sad, monotheistic and very edemic, right? Anemic. I think anemic is the right term, right? When things have all the same color, there's not a lot of movement. If you don't anemic, when you don't make bold color choices in paintings, or while painting or drawing. So if you don't have that energy level during the week, you can expect to perform on that energy level on the weekend or when you're auditioning. So you have to make sure that your exercises match the energy level of your presentation. So if you are a person that is rather toned down in real life, but you have to make that, high vibrancy, high frequency type of presentation in your own terms with your own skills, of course, you need to get up there, right? You need to buff up a little, get more oxygen into your system. You need to circulate a bit more, and vice versa. If your presentation is rather the opposite of what you should, what you represent in energy level, because you're usually a bit more outgoing, a bit louder, a bit more, open in real life. And here you have a monologue that is rather toned down, a bit more, a bit more mysterious, a bit more, kind of less wordy and less energetic. Then of course you exercise that during the week. You meditate more, you calm yourself down, you do more Tai Chi, and you take longer walks and do less high intensity level, and you don't work on resistance that much, but more on the flow of things, right? So there are many ways to match the energetical levels of our presentation and our performance that we can include into our, into our prep, into our workflow, into our preparation. And that will make it easier for us then on performance day, on show day, to really kind of match that and deliver that truthfully, generally, and still very, very impactful. So I hope you enjoyed this acting alphabet episode today with the letter E. It's gonna be F the next time, and F is let it be a surprise what the letter F kind of holds within, because there are many, many beautiful kind of perspectives and visions and things we can talk about when we're hitting that letter next time. Subscribe to the channel, right? Like this video if you like the value proposition. Please comment what you like to see covered with the next letter F. What kind of perspective you like to get from that letter, and what your experience so far is, and what you want to achieve this year, right? Let us know. This is a creative community. So join it and have a lot of fun with our videos, and now you're ready to perform.